Something about these stories. And now there's people who push back against most of this, even the Easter stories themselves. And they say, no, you can't trust these stories. I mean, Jesus rose from the dead, and sure, there's an empty tomb, and no one's been able to find the body. But there's all kinds of theories, and if you're a skeptic and you're here, you probably have them. There's all kinds of theories. I used to watch these when I was growing up because I was interested, and I would turn on the Discovery Channel, and there'd be official theories about what actually happened, because it's very hard to explain the rise of the early church. It's very hard to explain why a group of Jews, very adamant religious Jews, all of a sudden overnight changed their day of worship and started worshiping a human being who they said wrote. It's very hard to explain that. And I don't know if you know this, religious people tend not to change very quick. All right, I'm gonna ask you an example of this. How many of you, if you're honest, just raise your hand. We can be honest here, we're family. I don't know you, but you guys are family. Raise your hand if you're sitting in the same seat today as you were last week. It's just such religious people. Just you do the same thing every week, man. I do something in my church for 4 weeks, and my church is like, this is the way we've always done it. It's like, no, it's not. We've done it for 4 weeks. It's very hard to change the minds and the patterns and the rhythms of religious people, is it not? Now you take something thousands of years old, and overnight, all of a sudden, they change their day of worship, they change who they worship, and they're willing to die for it. Recognize that. Because of the resurrection, these guys all got slaughtered. Because they're blaspheming. They're worshiping a person now. And so they get stoned to death. They get pulled apart by lions. And I remember when I was becoming a new, I would read this. I would sit out on the rock in front of my high school, smoke a pack of cigarettes, and read the New Testament. And I'd be like, my gosh, these people are unreal. And finally, when someone dragged me to church, I thought I was gonna come to church and it was gonna be just like the New Testament, like raw, real, skeptics, death, like sacrifice. It was gonna be crazy. And I walked in and it was safe for the whole family, man. It was like worship slides with birds sucking pollen out of flowers and like I thought I was gonna walk into church and it was gonna be like, sit down, shut up, we don't know if we're gonna survive. And the worship slides that have blood stains on them and just be like, rise, lions. All right, I thought it was gonna be crazy. Like I didn't know if I was gonna survive. And then it was like, hey, greet your neighbor. And I'm like, I don't wanna touch anyone. I'm a 19-year-old skeptic. Please don't make me grab their hand. Grab hands across the aisle. No, God, no. The skepticism, the rawness, the realness, the reality of Christianity says to you, listen, this is not safe. You have got to be willing to give up your money, your high school years, your sex life, your family life. Take all of that and orient it around this fact being true. This is anything but safe. So do you? Or do you hedge your bets in comfort and go, it's really good for them. I mean, it was really tough persecution, I get it, but persecution to us, we don't even know it.